It's your boy D from Speaking Boldly Sports Podcast. Football's coming. We're in the month. What's today's date? July the 28th. Training camp has started. We're coming. Season 2 of the SIBS Podcast. Football, college, high school, professional. Let's do it. Let's get on this video.
That scroll back. That's very well done. All right. Let's somehow segue from that to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' rushing attack. Lamar Jackson ran for under 27 yards a game last year, by far the lowest mark in any season in his career. He had just 2 touchdowns on the ground, tied for the fewest of any season in his career. Worth noting, obviously, as context, that he was injured a lot last season, and that probably had a lot to do with it. But there has also been, I think, some reasonable question about the idea that when the time came that he was no longer the most dynamic athlete that the league has ever seen, which I think he probably was, or if not, he was damn close, and no one is going to be that forever, how it would impact them. So I guess the question that I'm asking here, and I'll start with you as my resident Raven, is in this new offense that they're going to have there under the new offensive coordinator, Declan.
I'm going to rewind it one more time, then I'm going to pause it and give my thoughts on what Greeny just said. Let's see. Go back there.
I think he probably was, or if not, idea that when the time came that he was no longer the most dynamic athlete on the ground, tied for the fewest of any season in his career. Worth noting, obviously, as context, that he was injured a lot last season, and that probably had a lot to do with it. But there has also been, I think, some reasonable question about the idea that when the time came that he was no longer the most dynamic athlete that the league has ever seen, which I think he probably was, or if not, he was damn close, and name that he was no longer the most dynamic athlete that the league has ever seen, which I think he probably was, or if not, he was damn close, and no one is going to be that forever, how it would impact them. So I guess the question that I'm asking here, and I'll start with you as my...
So that's the part that I kind of, when Greeny first started, before they get over to Dominique and talk and things like that. So to put it in simpler terms, when Lamar can no longer run and juke people no more, how will he still be a good quarterback in the NFL? Is what I heard. So, yeah, like they mentioned, rushing touchdowns were down due to what? Injury. Yeah, Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, doesn't need QB designed runs to still be effective with his legs. You know, we've seen him be effective with his arm from the pocket. To me, his whole entire career, yes, he has improved and gotten better, but coming into the league, he was a good with throwing the ball. There was always just emphasis on his running ability because it was so rare at the position. Yes, you had Michael Vick, but even you look at the 2 running styles between Vick and Lamar, to me, it's night and day. No, there's never been a quarterback that can move like Lamar can move. Acceleration, deacceleration, speed, agility, mobility, whatever Italy you want to use. Kidding. No, but he's, there's a different breed of athlete, Lamar Jackson, very rare era he's in. But I think if you take away his take away his legs, he's still effective. We're just only about to be 2 seasons removed from his what should have been his 3rd MVP season, where he led in just about every passing category that season. I have to pull up the stats, so I don't have up right now, but to diminish his arm, because if you think that he's slowing down athletically, to me, it's crazy. But when we don't give that same thought process to a guy like Josh Allen, who is physically bigger, but he's taking some shots. When we're seeing big quarterbacks like your Cam Newtons over time wear down after, you're maybe bigger than everybody, but you still know the grown man or a couple grown men tackling you, bring you down. So I think to any running quarterback that runs and that takes contact, it can wear on you. So to consider just improving all quarterbacks that are mobile from your Josh Allen's to your Jalen Hurts to your Lamar Jacksons and any other. I'm probably forgetting some guys too. Current to always be improving as a pocket passer. That's where, to me, that's where the quarterback position. That's where it's at right there. So I thought that was interesting to kind of start this conversation off with that piece. Kind of not saying it directly, but hinting at it. Has he lost a step? Is he, da 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 da? It's like, okay. As if that's all, like he's just a running quarterback. Like it's not college. So I thought that was interesting for that part right there, what Granny was saying. But let's proceed.
A resident Raven is in this new offense that they're going to have there under the new offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle, right, from Chicago, came over there. How much should we expect Lamar Jackson's running with the ball to be a factor, and how much will that determine about their success?
Yeah, I mean, without the injuries from last year, I think he probably would have been on the same track. But I think it's going to be fewer and fewer designed runs for Lamar as he ages. Like, that makes sense for any quarterback, and he's demonstrated that he can play from within the pocket. The one thing that's important to remember is Lamar Jackson has always been hesitant to scramble. I remember coming out of college trying to, convince people, no, this guy wants to stay in the pocket. Right. I don't see his running numbers going back up to, his career high. But they'll go back up a little bit. But this offense, I think, is designed to have an effective rushing attack without needing the quarterback. Again, you mentioned the Bears and Declan Doyle. That's what they're going to try to replicate. Quarterback under center, Derrick Henry, wide zone or inside zone runs, and that's going to be the core of their rushing attack, not Lamar Jackson.
And that's been the way his career has been trending. 2019, Greg Roman comes in, and there's a ton of the quarterback run, and Mark Ingram and all of those guys are rushing for 5 yards a carry. And then you fast forward, and Todd Monken comes in, and now unlocked a whole new version of Lamar Jackson, still in an MVP form, but doing it from a different way. I expect this offense to unlock something.
That's one thing, man. He kind of mentioned it, Mr. McCourty here. So you got these different offenses Lamar's been under, and he's won 2 MVPs with 2 different offensive schemes, with 2 different OCs, 2 different philosophies from an offensive standpoint. Should have been 2 with Todd Monken, but you know what I'm saying. But it's not enough credit, or what about credit? He got credit by winning MVP, but just not enough recognition. Like, you was in this scheme under a run-heavy Greg Roman type offense, and that year you won MVP, you led the league in passing touchdowns with 36. Then, maybe 2 years later, under Todd Monken, maybe a little bit longer, 3 years. I don't know how long. I don't recall how long Greg Roman was there. But another offensive scheme, more of a spread-based offense, you win another MVP. Different schemes, different everything. We got to see what happens with this new offense that's, coming up. And see what happens there. What I think, if history trails me right, whether he was on the MVP or not, he'll be productive in this offense as well. So I think it's just kind of we got to start just really look at things differently as, as fans, as analysts, as people that talk sports, and really not just Lamar Jackson, but all these players be like, hey, what, this guy's been with, Jalen Hurts been with 5, 7, 20 different OCs, different thought processes, different schemes, different plans of action, different how we're going to attack this, different ways of doing things. So you just got to tip your hat to, and these guys still can be, those that are still productive, are still winning games, still putting up numbers, still making plays consistently. So I think, I'm just paying attention to. It's let's give some credit, let's give some recognition, and recognize what these men are doing on this court, on this field, whatever sport. I'm talking about football, but just period. That's impressive, very impressive.
Something even different in Lamar that we maybe haven't seen yet, with him throwing the ball from the pocket. When you have your star player and your quarterback get injured, the offense to unlock something even different in Lamar that we maybe haven't seen yet, with him throwing the ball from the pocket. When you have your star,
I don't know what he's talking about. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Something different? Something different? I understand what he's saying, like something different, but if Lamar can duplicate another 4,172 passing yards, 41 passing TDs, and 915 rushing yards with 4 INTs, with a 119.6 passer rating. Now I got the stats, so I got to look at them now. I'm just saying, like, that's something you. That's something, boy. That's something, if he can duplicate that again, you know what I'm saying? That would be most impressive. That would be most impressive. I'm just saying. That would be very, very impressive. I'm just looking up some stats real quick. So in his first MVP back in the 2019-2020 season, Lamar had 3,127 passing yards. He had a 66% completion rate, 36 touchdowns, which I said, 6 interceptions, 113.3 passer rating. And then he had 1,026 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns on the ground, on 176 carries. So, yeah. Between his first MVP and second MVP, that 2024 season, it's like, you see the improvement. So, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, Lamar Jackson, that is. But let's continue. Let's see if we can see something different, better from Lamar. Main thing for him, I think for me, is like just staying healthy. I think that's so important.
Our player and your quarterback get injured the amount he did last year, you're not going to now come into this season and say, you know what, let's put him at risk more and have him run and do some of those things. He'll still scramble and we'll still see that ability, but it won't be him just getting the ball with quarterback design runs.
And we've seen the best of Lamar Jackson when he's gotten a new offensive coordinator in the first year. So he gets the new offensive coordinator now in Declan Doyle. It's a different feel, different vibe in Baltimore with John Harbaugh not there and Jesse Minter being there. It's an entirely new experience. We may see a different Lamar Jackson this year. Again, he was taking part in the offseason program. Hasn't done that in the past. So there's a lot on the line for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens this year. There's a real opportunity for this team, and we'll see whether they can take advantage.
If I promised you right now 17 healthy games from Lamar Jackson, what would you promise me in return?
Win a division for sure. And then we're at the same place that we always are with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Like, can they get it done in the playoffs? Will there be some big mistake that causes them to fall short of the expectations? Lamar Jackson is healthy. I think the big question is, can the defense improve? And it seems like Jesse Minter can make just about any defense play really well. That's the expectation.
Well, Cleveland has a long way to go. I think they are improving, but they have a long way to go. I don't know exactly what we expect from Pittsburgh. But I don't. So really, it feels like it's Baltimore and Cincinnati in that division, right?
And what I would say about Cincinnati, if Joe Burrow is healthy for 17.
I would say I won't sleep on Pittsburgh. Just saying. So they got Mike Tomlin gone, Mike McCarthy stepped in. I'm just saying I still just wouldn't sleep on them. Okay. But yeah, that's how I really want to touch on in that video. Just, I would say, use the messaging when it comes to Lamar and the idea of the what ifs. What if he can no longer run? What if he loses athleticism? Can he still win from the pocket? Things like that. I just found that to be interesting. That's how that started out in the video with Greeny saying that. I was like, oh, I picked that up when I was looking at it earlier. I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Amazing. But, and I think the main thing is not him losing a step on athleticism. It's more so, hey, I need you to remain healthy for all the games. Because that's the only way we're going to propel to the next level. The only way. The only way. You know what I mean? Shout out to LJ. I'm always, one thing on me, I'm always go defend Lamar Jackson. Always. And I'll give my critiques if he doesn't play well. If he but I'm like, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to defend him. For sure. For sure. For sure. But no, that's all I got. Go Raven Flock. You know what I'm saying? Go LJ. Looking forward to see what that team do, see what he do coming back. I think just stay healthy, stay healthy, stay healthy, stay healthy. Y'all be easy.